Well guys, welcome back to another Scrap and Irish video, and as you can see on this one I'm going to strip out an old Karcher power washer just to see what the motor feels. Quite heavy, so hopefully it's got an actual copper motor and not an old Chinesium motor in it. So there's a little issue with this that I'm going to have, but we'll come to that in a minute. But all I'm going to do to start off first with is I'm just going to well, before we start off, please hit the like. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, where you can see me stripping out more products like this for copper and for e-waste and stuff like that. So this one is just going to be mainly copper and metal I'll be getting out of it. Other than that, there'll be not much in it. I'm presuming we'll have a bit of copper motor hopefully, and we'll have some copper wire. So first thing I'm going to do, chop off the extension cord. So or the electrical cord. So we'll just put that as tight as we can to there. So we have our cord, so that will go in after I take off the plug, of course, because again we get the brass from the plug. If you don't know how to get them out, have a look at Ian Matthews' video where he done a plug soup to get them out. So now that we have the cord out, I can talk about my problem that I'm going to have. And the problem I have is the screws. So these are quite deep down into it. So I thought to myself, we'll get my extension piece, put it onto my screwdriver, and we'll go down into it. But it won't fit in. So now I have an issue. What am I going to do? Well, what I'm going to do on this, which you don't usually see me doing, is I'm going to resort to the good old Ian Matthews method. That's twice now I've mentioned Ian Matthews in this video, and he probably won't even watch it. But anyhow, Ian, I'm going to resort to your method. So we're going to go outside for this part, and we're going to get some hammer action. Now guys, so we are outside, and we're going to smash this open, so I'm going to get some enjoyment out of it. So you have the gloves on for safety, and Ian Matthews always uses a nice little brick hammer, but unfortunately I don't have a brick hammer, so I'm going to have to go with a good old brute of a lump hammer. So, and what I'm also going to get is a nice chisel. So give me a second with a nice big chisel. So let's have some fun. Now I see why Ian Matthews enjoys the hammer so much. It's good fun, very quick, a lot quicker than a screwdriver, and we're into a nice looking motor. But is it copper? That is the question. So we're going to go back inside, and we're going to take it apart, and we'll see what's inside. You can see nice cast aluminium along here. So a bit of plastic, more plastic, but nice lump of cast aluminium. So let's go in, let's take it apart and see what else is in there. And of course, have to tidy up that mess, don't I? There's always a downside. Well, now I can see why Ian Matthews likes using the hammer so much. That was a bit of enjoyable fun anyhow. So that's 3 times I've said his name. Oh my God. God knows what's going to happen now. So what's left? What do we see? Well, what I can see is wire. So I'm just going to cut that off, just so we can free things up first. It's quite a heavy motor, which is good. So I'm hoping that when we get here, this will be copper. In here, again, we have some more wire we can remove. This can be all added into your insulated copper wire. I'm sure every good scrapper has a good pile of insulated copper wire, and at the moment prices are good. So if you're watching this years down the road from when this comes out, prices may not be as good, or maybe even better than when this video was originally done. So I'll just trim that off. Again, a lot of the time this will be brass, so depending on your yard, you can just chuck that into your brass and add that to your brass, and then you have your insulated copper wire. And again, same on this one, a little bit of brass. So again, check with your scrapyard, see what they take it as. Do they give you brass price? Do they give you dirty brass price? Do they give you copper, aluminum, whatever sort of prices? Just check to make sure it's not anything other than brass. Okay, so that's there. So then we're looking here at the actual thing. Again, I just pull off any little bit. So we got a little bit of a hose here, because it was a pump, so there's a little bit of a hose. And what do I see? Just looking at it, I have some screws along here, so you can see them, quite large tech head screws. So we're going to remove them. Okay, so now I have removed the screws. Again, I could have done that quicker if I'd done it with a drill, and you can see we have oil came out of it, so that wasn't the best plan in the world. So you can see the oil here. So I could have planned that a bit better, you know, on the gearbox. So a dirty, messy little job. I should have done that really outside, but I didn't think there was going to be that amount of oil in there. But this is the joys of scrapping. So you can see here we have a little gearbox of sorts, or runners. So we'll just throw that there, and you can see where the oil was inside of here. So again, underneath that then we have more little screws. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that. That is cast aluminum or aluminium, whatever way again you want to call it. So we'll remove that, and we'll see what's under that. So I'm just going to change the head on that screwdriver, and we'll remove that, and we have the dirty old oil to deal with. You can see there, should have had my gloves on as well for it, but didn't expect to see that amount of oil in there. But this is what you have to put up with when you're scrapping, isn't it? Okay, so we've changed the head on this, and we're ready to remove these screws here at the side. So hopefully we can get them off. Yeah, they come off very easy. Maybe it's something to do with all the oil. Okay, now that we've removed them screws, we're just going to try and separate this. So let me get a nice big screwdriver. Let's see, can we break that off? Yeah, there we go. So you can see the gears are in here, getting loads of oil coming out. Some nice bearings, as you can see here and here. So again, I was going to say something like Ian Matthews would say, I might hold on to them, they might come in handy for something. So again, just some steel, some more steel. That's the aluminium, so nice chunk of cast aluminium. Again, here we have the other piece, which is just steel, ferrous, so I just throw that into the ferrous. I won't even bother messing with that anymore. And what are we left with? We're left with our motor in here. So again, you can see the gearbox on it here. Well, not the gearbox, the actual gear here, and the gearbox was inside of that with all that oil. Some more of the gears along here, so you can see all them. Oh, got very messy there in the end, didn't it? But the important bit is here, and what we want to see is that real copper, or is it Chinesium. So what I'm going to do is we're going to snip some of it. We're going to have a look in it and see if it's Chinesium or copper wire. And she's copper, which is nice. So we've copper there and a load of oil. So this is why I don't like doing these, and I prefer the e-waste sometimes, is for the amount of stripping out there. I have oil to deal with now, and I have all these little bits to get the oil off and stuff like that. I don't usually, on these, I don't usually break them down any further myself personally, because I'm more in for the e-waste. So I'll knock off the plastic here, and that usually goes into a copper bearing motor, is what I usually put it into. So I don't know, do you guys, if you want to see it broken down more, I think Dan from K&D Scrapping breaks them down. Probably Ian Matthews may have broken them down as well on a few videos. Stuff like that. I think they do break them down a lot more than I would, but for me, that's as far as I would break that down. So again, it's quite a heavy motor, so see what your scrapyard is paying for them motor prices. Again, we have the aluminium, so that's straightforward. It's just clean aluminium there. There's no more steel anywhere on that, so that'll be put into your depending on your scrapyards, again, whether it's cast aluminium you'll get for it, or whether you just have to, here in Ireland, it's a one price for the aluminium, whether it's cast or extruded aluminium, it's the same price. And again, the rest of it is just steel, so that'll just go into the steel. So I got my what you call from that as well. I got the wire out of there and the insulator wire. So that's kind of all I'd really do with them motors. That's as far as I go with them. So guys, thanks for watching. As always, I really appreciate it. And until the next one, I would usually say keep on looking for that gold, but maybe keep on looking for that copper. Don't forget, give it a thumbs up, guys. Gold recovery videos coming very, very soon. Keep an eye out for them.